Thanks a lot
to be with us, and thank you again.
Yeah, take care to everybody and good success with the conference, continuation of the conference. All best.
Thank you. So let's move to the first workshop of the day. We will see 4 successful business cases from different countries around the Alp region. They will be presenting their businesses. Of course, we will be continue debating about the opportunities related to circular SMEs. I'd like to start to invite on the floor Leonardo Benutzy. He's the Innovation Officer of Sartori Ambiente. He is already starting his presentation. Leonardo is also a good friend of mine. We met many years ago in the Progetto Manifattura, which is a clean tech incubator in the province of Trento. Together with him, they will be following the presentation of Gerard Pichon, R&D Manager of Barbier Group, Branka Vitulsnik, I hope I pronounced it correctly, the Chief Research and Innovation Officer of Plastika Skaza, and Niccolo Calandri is the founder of 3B, a company that specialized on sustainable animal-based products. Leonardo Benutzy, you are from Sartori Ambiente. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll leave you the floor to give us a 5-minute presentation of your successful businesses. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you very much, Emanuele, and thank you to all the guests. It was impressive to assist of this presentation by Janez Potocnik. I really loved it, and it's amazing to see how brilliant the European Union can be sometimes through their commissaire. As you can see, I haven't prepared a proper presentation because I wanted to start from something very similar to what Janez just said. Like, we are all human, and this is our new website in which we say we are all connected. Because I think even after this COVID pandemic, that we focus on who we are and where are we in terms of our relationship with nature. Is it outside? Are we outside of it or inside? What Janez just said. And we, my company, strongly believe that we are inside. What do we do is that we help cities to manage their waste management in a smart way. We provide basically everything that is needed to do a great job in recycling and collecting the waste with the PAIT system, pay as you throw. So basically, we help tracking the users, the citizens that throw away their garbage with the door-to-door collection system. So everything from the bins to the bags to which are RFID connected. Two, and here is the key part, the digitalization of all of this information. Of course, you cannot measure what you cannot improve, what you cannot measure. And what we do provide is a way in order to measure everything that is related to waste production. How, and this is the second part of the topic of our meeting today. The innovation is related to how well we can do that. Basically, what we can provide is a system that allows you to get all of these while working as usual. So the operators keeps emptying the bins in the usual way, and the collection is seamless. Why is this important? Because we think that without these numbers, you cannot act. The citation that, again, Janez provided of Goethe, in which he says, the willingness is not enough. We need to go on and improve and do stuff. And in our experience, this is exactly the case. We provide this solution to the best proven effort in Italy. So cities that are able to get to 80%, 85% of recycling thanks to this system. So I will stop here because I prefer to talk with other people, but this is our focus.
Thank you so much, Leonardo. Really, really interesting presentation. I'd like to ask Gérard Pichon, R&D manager of Barbier Group, instead to present his business. I know we have been talking yesterday about it. I know you have a couple of slides that you want to use it. So please, the floor is yours.
No, I send you one slide, I think. I don't know. Okay, yeah. But in the first part, I would like to present you Barbier Group company. This company has been founded by Abel Barbier in 1955, and this is still a 100% family-owned company acting in the production of flexible films by blown and cast process. And in 2020, the annual tonnage of production reached 160 kilotons, decomposing in 140 kilotons of film and bags and 20 kilotons of recycled materials for a turnover of 260 million euros. Okay, and the number of employees currently around 700, and we have 11 production units, all located in Haute-Loire, close to Saint-Étienne, in the middle of France. 8 are dedicated for the film production, film extrusion, 1 for printing, and 2 for mechanical recycling. And the technology that we use is a blown and cast co-extrusion up to 7 layers, printing by flexography, thermal sealing, and mechanical recycling. And more recently, we have also integrated machine direction stretching technology. The raw material used are mainly polyolefin resins, mainly polyethylene, but also biocompostable and water-soluble compounds, but only for specific application requesting biodegradability. Nevertheless, today, biodegradable resin represent around 4% of the film tonnage commercialized by Barbier Group. The recycled materials activity is made from pre- and post-consumer plastic waste, and this activity has been integrated in the Barbier Group since the years 1980. And the production of recycled materials is in totality used in the flexible film production of Barbier Group. We don't sell recycled materials. And in 2020, the average percentage of recycled materials in our film has exceeded 22%, and we plan to reach 30% in 2025 and 40% in 2030. The commercial business is divided in 3 branches. The first one is industrial packaging, representing 52% of turnover. Second one is agricultural films, 26% of the turnover in 2020. And the third one is bags, 22% of the turnover. Exportation continued to grow since 1990 to reach today 35% of the turnover, mainly in Europe, but also on other continents like America and Oceania. Barbier Group has recently opened a commercial office in Mexico. In terms of research and development, Barbier Group has laboratory facilities fully equipped by the physical, chemical, and mechanical testing of flexible film. And we have also many component and extrusion pilot lines. The Barbier Group is particularly concerned about environmental issues and implicated in the new circular economy, but I will explain you this later during this workshop. If you want to have more information on our company, I invite you to have a look on our internet site, www.barbiergroup.com. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was perfect. Thank you so much to Gerard Pichon. Stay with us because we're going to keep talking about innovation and circular economy and digitalization. We stay though in the plastic realm with Branka Vitulnik. I hope the pronunciation is correct. She's the Chief Research Innovation Officer of Plastika Skaza. Please, Branka, the floor is yours. I'm really interested to hear your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Plastika Skaza company story began about 44 years ago in the garage. But today we have more than 280 people and operate with state-of-the-art machinery. We have two main focuses. One is B2B industry and the other is B2C, which is our own brand. I would like to go, I cannot share my, okay, thank you, sorry. In B2B part, we are presented in three segments, electro, home, and we are looking for new opportunities and markets in medical segment. In second part, in B2C, this is our own brand, and which is also present in global markets. Our most famous products are Bokashi Organko and Pick and Go set. More than 85% of materials of our own brand are sustainable. That means recycled or bio-based. Bio-based is from sugarcane. We want to improve the whole process, not only materials, and that is why we are using life cycle assessment for material and for product production. We have a lot of opportunities to lower the environmental impacts, not only in materials, but also in transport, electricity, the use of industrial water, and also during the whole processes in our production. But unfortunately, in B2B segment, we have more room for improvement in matter of material. For home segment, we are already using a lot of recycled materials, but in electro, we are still using a lot of virgin polymers because of strict regulation. Nature is our own, our main value, and this is the reason why we have a lot of projects related to sustainability. For example, we are working on new materials with our partners. We are using a lot of advanced materials and products which are really difficult to recycle. But we are implemented the eco design at the beginning of each process, and that is why we are able to offer our customers who are buying our products opportunity to send us our product back to Skaza, where together with our partners we ensure that they will go to recycling process. That is how we close the loop of our products. Our products are not for single use, but we can replace single use plastic, which are sustainable and reusable one. Using bio-based materials for products that are our own brand and with all the additional innovation in production lines, so using digital projects and new technologies, 44 tons less carbon emissions was produced in 2020. And using recycled polypropylene for Bokashi Organko and all additional innovation, as I said, using also 100% renewable energy, more than 300 tons less carbon emission was produced in 2020. As I mentioned, we achieve all those results by using sustainable materials and additional innovation technology in production. And because using more and more sustainable materials, that leads to sustainable development, we have gradually introduced a new innovative technologies. Our innovations are all eco-innovations, and with the help of our employees, all those ideas that we have are then implemented. And why we are doing all this? Why the sustainable development is so important for us? Because the main purpose of our company is to take care of our planet and to change the future of plastic. And as Albert Einstein said once, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So we need to change our habits and to save planet, and we can start with small steps.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Branka Viltuchnik for your presentation. I really also like the Einstein quotes. That's absolutely true. We sometimes we stress too much and the same old habits. Our next presenter is Nicolò Calandri, is the founder of 3B with a 3 number. Please, Nicolò, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Emanuele. Hi, everyone. Sorry. As mentioned from Emanuele, I'm Nicolò Calandri, CEO of 3B. Of course, I'm happy and it's a pleasure to be here today. I try to be as much concise as possible about 3B, what we are doing and where we start. We start from a massive problem, that is the sustainability in the farming sector. What does it mean? Farming and breeding of animal is one of the less sustainable process at all, for very different reasons, for the massive use of chemicals, antibiotics, pesticide, and every possible chemicals compound inside the animal. Is not even sustainable for the food and the way the food is administered to the animal. So what we understand is that the new trend, the new vegan and vegetarian trend, is growing as fast as possible thanks to this issue in sustainability, in this sustainability environment. So me and Riccardo, we are 2 co-founders of 3B. We try to understand how to bring back the sustainability in the farming animal. So what we did is to provide a solution to the farmers in order to improve the sustainable process inside their farms. So we start from the ambassador of the biodiversity. We start from the beekeeper. We provide a service which is able to improve the health of the bees, reduce the chemical compound used to cure, improve the nourishment for the bees, decrease the mortality rate of the bees. So we provide a service which is able to improve the animal health, and so to provide the real first honey, sustainable honey on the market. We start from the bees 3 years ago. Now we spread our technology all over the Europe. We are present in more than 25 countries in the world. And after bees, we start to tackle other farming animal. We are improving the health of the broiler, so the egg production. With the biggest Italian player of egg production, what we are doing is to improve the air quality for the broiler. We are decreasing the digestive problem of the broiler. And finally, now we are entering in the milk sector. And thanks to our technology and our platform, we are able to reduce the digestion problem of the cow, improving and creating a real sustainable milk on the table. So what we are doing, let's say, to compete with the vegan trend in order to bring back, because it's possible, the sustainability in the farming sector. Just to conclude, we started the company a few years ago, 3 years ago, more or less. We moved from 2 people, me and Riccardo, with the dream with a weird dream to take back sustainability in the farming. And now we are a 20 people company spread mainly all over the Italy, and we are scaling fast in Europe. So thank you so much, and I have to discuss later more.
Thank you so much to everyone for your brief and concise, clear presentation of your businesses. Of course, here today we are discussing about digitalization and innovation. So I would like to address this workshop to try to present what type of reasoning you have put in your company when it comes to digital innovation. Which technologies do you think were a game changer in your company that really accelerate the process of circularity of the whole group? Of course, I'd like to start again with Leonardo Benutzy, please. Be aware of your microphone, it's still off.
Sorry. So I would say that we like to add technology only when needed. We try to avoid technology per se. I'm a big fan of technology, but I wouldn't want to add technology only because it's cool. That's the point. So given as an example, our latest app, we developed in a world which is getting rid of apps. So we are again going against the flow. We have just developed an app to improve the quality of the home composter. So let's say that you are composting at home. How do you know how to do that? Because it seems very easy, right? You just throw there the thing and you wait, and then, oh, look at that. Compost for my vegetables or compost for my garden, right? It doesn't work like that. You have to know what you are putting into the composter. You have to be aware of a problem that may arise. What happens if there are big flies? What happens if the composting is not starting? This seems very easy, but through a technology simple like an app, we just share some picture. This is the mistake you're doing. This is how you can improve. So in this case, we added a technology to a very old approach, which is home composting, and it seems to work. Of course, we didn't stop there. So right now we are developing some gamification of our app. So in order to improve not only the willingness of those who are already have already the willingness to do that, but we are trying to improve the willingness of those who look at it as a chore instead of something that it makes sense for the environment. So again, in this quest to add a little bit of gamification and maybe some nudge, we are still debating it. We are trying to enclose the technology of it without saying it. So you are experiencing the effect of the technology, but it doesn't look to you that you are using any kind of technology.
Interesting. So what type of other ideas have you tried? I mean, Sartori Ambiente is a pretty big company. Is there any other digital application you have been trying to rely on? I mean, of course, you say that you try to convey more non-technological solution, but as well, I mean.
So we, as I was maybe briefly saying before, we were the first to introduce the ability of scan more than one bag at the same time when you empty the beans inside the truck, for example. In the past, it used to be that you had to, it was a very slow process. So everything one bite at the time. With our system, you can have two operator works at the same time. And we can reliably collect all this data and transmit it to the server in a certified way. So we used to do blockchain before blockchain was cool with a certification that is called common criteria. And we are probably one of the only company in Italy that is certified in our field to do that. So once you collect the data, remember that on that data, you pay the taxes, right? You pay your waste tax, right? On that data, nobody can touch it basically, because it's certified from the start to the moment that the tariff is calculated. So this is another innovation that you cannot see, but is there. We like this to have this seamless approach in which we do have an answer for a problem that maybe the consumer may ask you. Sometimes they ask you, they are worried about that, but we already thought about that in advance.
You come from the research world, so how relevant is to have people like you who have a very broad knowledge of technology into companies, or sometimes it's more designer or it's a management approach that is needed?
Yes. So I come from a research background. I used to work at Boston at MIT in the design lab. The reason why I start to work in this company less than 1 year ago is the following. On their company track, it is of a company, remember, that produced technology for collecting waste. There was written something like, the best waste is the waste not produced. So this company basically wants to kill himself, right? And I love this approach because innovation starts from being the killer of your own idea, in this case, collecting waste. So if there is no waste, basically you don't have work, right? How can this company evolve? And this means that this company is ready to do innovation. So I found a very research approach in a very classical company. I mean, the CEO is a very serious guy but he truly believes that what he's doing helps the environment. And this is what I love about this company and the reason why I'm working.
Thank you so much, Leonardo. Very inspiring. Gerard Pinchon, you are the R&D manager. How have you structured your research and development ideas and strategies in your company? And which technology have you really been trying to push and try to evolve?
But regarding research and development, today in Barbier Group, there is a lot of project regarding the preservation of environment and the circular economy, and to achieve this, we play with eco-conception to design our film product, and especially playing with the fitness reduction, use less materials, and this is possible because we are continuously evaluating new high-performance polymer resins, and also because our company has a permanent investment in new production equipment. And these factors make that in the last 10 years, we can estimate to have reduced by around 10% the average thickness of our main film product ranges. We have also a lot of projects playing with integration of mechanically recycled material in our film formulation. And this material, I repeat, this material are mainly produced internally by sorting used plastic films, mainly post-use consumer waste. Okay, and we have for this we have launched a new product range named Reciplast, and for which type of product we guarantee to reincorporate a percentage of post-consumer recycled resin, and this is being certified by a third party. And okay, there is also action made at other level, not in R&D, but I can say that Barbier Group as a capacity is on the top of the recycling company, able to recover plastic film extracted from household waste collection. We also have significantly contributed to the creation in France and in Europe to a scheme dedicated to the collection and recycling of used agricultural film, which is very important because the majority of agricultural film was in the past burned on the field, in the field. Okay, and another way link to circular economy is project based on the development of compostable film, but in this case, only for very specific application. I don't believe that biodegradability could be applied at all packaging or all films. We develop industrial business only for example, where there is a really needs, or if it's required by law. And as example, I will give biodegradable mulching buried in soil after use for agriculture, and also compostable bags for green waste collection. And the third one is carrier bags to transport at home the fruit and vegetables sold in bulk in the supermarket. Okay.
So the majority of your innovation is mostly material engineering and machinery engineering. Am I correct?
Sure. We have also in parallel project based on the digitalization of our production equipment, and also logistic department, sales department. We try to work more and more without paper. Okay, but okay, and but it's very common. Okay.
Thank you so much, Gerardo.
But it's not concerning research and development. Okay.
It's a smart move to do.
Okay.
Branka Vitulchnik, how about yourself? I mean, you mentioned before you have invested in innovation. In our chat, you were mentioning blockchain. You mentioned a lot of technology. So how, how do you manage your innovation process, and which technology specifically have been a game changer in some of your production lines?
The technology needs to help us not to make production or using our product harder. So we need to choose the new digitalization and technology smart. Sometimes we don't know what to do with all the data that we are getting from production line. So that's why we need to choose this new technology very smart. At the moment, we are in the process of implementation TPM and MES. This is total productive maintenance.
Okay, can you clarify maybe to the ones who don't know this technology what they are?
These are two digitalization and in our production line that help us to control the maintenance and also the production line. And with those two technologies, we are getting more data from production line, and we can optimize the production and also control the production regarding to we are using a lot of recycled materials in last years, and we cannot control the quality of those materials because we don't know what we will get. And with those two technology, we can control the production line and to optimize the production, even if we are using those materials that we don't know the quality. And with that, we don't just lower the cost and getting better quality, but also lower the quantity of waste that is produced in our production line. So that is also a sustainable project, that's why. Using blockchain technology will help us to control our data and to prove our customers how sustainable are we as a company and how sustainable our products are. Because I can show you all the data that we have. I can show you also the fake data, and a lot of fake data regarding to sustainable development is on the market. And that's why we would like to use the technology, which will be our judgment, that we don't manipulate with those data. And our machine in production will be connected to the cloud and to the that data center in blockchain. And that is how we will prove to our customer that we are really sustainable. And they will also see where are those points that we have room to improvement, because we are not 100% sustainable.
Right. Also, Leonardo before has mentioned blockchain and how those these methodologies to keep records that cannot be modified.
Tampered with, yeah.
Yeah, we know that those are critical for you know, especially for the waste chain and for tracking, keeping track of every sort of material, the quality, the provenance, everything. How do you use this technology, Branka, in your company?
We will not put all those data into the blockchain because of the costs and also because of our business. We cannot put all those data into the blockchain. We will use blockchain just for the data that are important to prove our customer that we are sustainable, and that are mainly data from LCA, so life cycle assessment. And we will also show those data to human more, how to say, visible mood, not just numbers, but also some data that are that will have meaning for the end user.
Thank you. Niccolo Calandri, your company is heavy technology based, so you use a lot of different tools. So how do you start to research those technologies to make sustainable animal-based products?
Oh yeah, thank you, Manuel. I think that for us is like we are born with technology. So the technology is not something that changed our company. The technology is something that our company is based on. I want, in order to answer to this question, I want to try to start from the farmers, because we build our company on the technology, but the technology that we provide is used and the final users for us is always the farmers. And the farmers are not so technological at all. So we start from a very difficult user, the user that doesn't even like the technology. So what we are doing and what we are trying to do in the last years is not to sell the technology as we mentioned before, just because it's cool. We are trying to sell a service. And the service is enabled by the technology. So we are working with animal farming, but in general, our service that is enabled by, for example, IoT device helps, in this case, the beekeeper, but also the animal farmers to improve the sustainability of their process. Which is the real service? So we want, as mentioned also before, dematerialize the technology. And the goal is to avoid the pauperization, let's say, of the soil and the biodiversity. All the farming process, from animals, but not only animals, also the agriculture one, has a very huge impact on the soil. So what we are trying to serve to the beekeeper, to the breeder of chicken, to the breeder of cow, is to provide a service enabled by IoT device. We used to do blockchain in a very small way in order to track some important data. We use digital platform, we use cloud aggregation in order to give to the farmers the ability to know in real time which is the best option for him, in order to reduce the impact of their activity. So we give tip thanks to the sensor that we install on the animal, for example, in order to reduce the nourishment or to improve the nourishment, the quality of the nourishment. We give tips in order to reduce the chemical compound or even to avoid it, because it's possible to breed an animal without chemical compound and be on the market. This is our secret. We understand that we don't have to use pesticide. We have to inform and we have to tell and we have to be in the right time and the right moment in order to kill the pest. That's the reason, and that's how we are growing. So the technology is the enabler for sure, but to the farmer, we are not selling the technology. We are selling the service that help the farmer to improve the sustainability of their products. And that's it.
Thank you so much. We still have some time to go. I'd like to delve into one of the topics we were discussing also with Yanis before about how to implement those business. I mean, all of your companies are successful medium enterprises, and they're not small at all. They're probably moving towards large enterprises, some of yours, but many are asking, how have you been able to innovate so much, and how were you able to tap resources to do those innovation? Was the market, was European funds? How have you been able to develop those ideas? Leonardo, I'd like to start with you on this.
Again, so if I have understood correctly, you want to understand how we are able to put down our ideas in the market, yes, right? So,
especially from a financial perspective.
Sorry, from a?
Financial perspective.
So we are lucky that as a robust company, we can take gambles. So our gambles are, because, little introduction maybe, I am the innovation manager, and innovation is not business as usual, right? So you accept a little bit of variation in the expected results, okay? What we are doing is taking gamble on products that are made of, let's say, modules, in which we produce something that we are the core part of the product we implement is probably very successful. So we are expecting a good rate of success, and then we add a little bit of adds-on. And again, I'm referring to a software analogy here because we think in that way, that can be developed when needed by the customer. Okay, so most of the time we do have a core product that can be improved by a list of options, let's say, and we develop the option the moment that is needed. For example, we are working for an ESG tool. We know that companies need to be certified with ESG, right? Mm-hmm. How they do that? They track, between all things, they track their consumption. Very easy to track energy consumption. You go and look at the meter. How about the waste meter? There is no waste meter, right? Right. What we do is provide a waste meter for single companies. We are able to do that for a city. So it's pretty easy for us to do that at the level of a company of 3,000 people, let's say. We provide them with a meter, and our innovation is this meter. And then we have modules that are, for example, representation of the data in terms of the Agenda 2030. This is a module we have not developed yet. If there is a reason why the customer wants it, we can add that. And we developed it with the customer. So nice. This is our point of view. Regarding the financial aspect, most of it is done paid by us. So the core product is paid by us. We are lucky that we are good in getting grants and so on. We are in a region that helps very much. But I mean, in Europe, if you do the research in order to really make a product, I think you will get with a good grant. What we don't do is trying to get a grant because they're giving a grant. This is something that we don't do. If we do a grant, is because we are developing a product or a services, and then we look for a grant. We don't do the other way around. Many companies think that innovation is, okay, what they want me to do, and then they try to do it. But this is not a long-term strategy that I support.
Leonardo, you touched a very interesting point. So sometimes grant writing is done in a way that people are trying to following the guidelines of the grant giver rather than really pushing for their own innovation. So that's something that should be taken in consideration, especially from European grantees
and that's why we want to have the client to co-develop the modules, because now if you do that, you know that you're in the market because they are asking you to do that, right?
Right.
But not from a blank state, from a blank page. We start with our idea, our strategy, and then we adapt to what the customer wants. But we are the one to start the discussion on new innovation, like this ESG meter that we develop.
Thanks, Leonardo. Leonardo, we know France is a state that usually push a lot for innovation. It's always been a state very present when it comes to innovation, research, university research as well. How have you been able to grant resources for your company, or the company you work for? And beware, your microphone is off. Gerard, your microphone is still off, please. You have to turn it on. Can't hear you.
Sorry.
No problem.
I say that the majority of the funding is own fund because the Barbier Group has good financial results, and of course we can reinvest every year between 5 and 20 million euros each year to improve the production tools and also the production. Okay, and the majority of this investment are strongly linked with circular economy and digitalization now.
Do you rely on European funds as well, especially the many circular economy related EU funds?
Sure, but another part is of funding, especially also for investment, but also for research and development, is linked to grants obtained through regional, national, and European calls for projects in relation with the circular economy, because today it's a very, I will say, popular thematic, sorry, but I'm not authorized to disclose you more information
of course,
about the subsidized investment project. But regarding research and development project, I can say that for the time being, Barbier Group manage or participate in more than 7 collaborative projects, which are all linked to circular economy and or digitalization. Voilà. Okay.
Do you also work with startups to push innovation?
Yeah,
external startups.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Do you also work with startups? With startups, with small companies, startups? No.
No, not a lot. No.
Okay. Thank you. Branka Vituznik, how about yourself? I mean, what's the company strategy in that? And if you do work with the startups?
Yes, we are working with startups. We have open innovation model. So for the new innovation, from Turtle 1 to 3, maybe 4 or 5, we are working with startups. We are working also with faculties. And we also with other companies near our company. We are using also EU funds, but we have a small issue because we are not a small medium enterprise anymore because of the number of employees. So we cannot candidate every time on every session. But we have a lot of national projects such as RRE and so on, where we also cooperate with startups, with faculties. We are also co-founder of one faculty for technology, for polymer technology, and I don't know the exact name, but we are co-founder of this faculty.
Nice. And do you think that Europe should push for more resources also for large enterprises when it comes to circular economy?
Yes, maybe also for larger companies, and also for some equipment, and maybe for some softwares and so on, because those costs are not now included in projects.
You're also seeing a push from shareholders and from financial companies to, to disclose non-financial results.
In Slovenia?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know that they are talking about that, but I don't know what exactly.
Of course, I'm sorry. It's a CFO question rather than. Nicola, you're a founder of company, so you know everything about your company, so I can ask you. And
I hope so.
So how did you start to get funds at the beginning of the career of a 3B?
Yeah, 3 years ago, so no, not far in the past.
How many people works in the company right now? How big?
25 or less, 25 to 30, 25 full-time and 5 part-time. That's it. And we are still growing. Maybe I tell a little bit more, but we start 3 years ago without any money, and the help of the European Enterprise Network was very impressive, because thanks to them, we achieved one of the first and biggest milestone to get funding from the European funds. So we start from that grant. It was a quite big grant, about 1 million something. And thanks to this grant, we start from scratch. We were just 3 people before. After the grant, 10, and later bootstrapping with revenue. And later, after granting, you need to make revenue. That's the point, I think. We will start to 25 to 30 people. Right now, after that, we are still looking for investment, or even better, we are closing an investment in the end of November of 10 million between a venture, European venture, and we are scaling the company between Italy, Spain, Germany, and France right now. So we are set up in different head in these 4 market. What we are trying to do is to be the leader of the sustainability farming, animal farming in Europe right now. And our vision is to jump in USA in 2 years from now. So we are trying to run as fast as possible, because we like what we are doing. Well, our team is committed, and I think this is the main investment. So the team behind a small company is essential to scale, to get grant, to get venture, and to make the revenue that you need in order to make this possible.
Thank you. We still have 5 minutes. I want to have just a quick question to everyone. The 4 of you belongs to companies that are successful in the Alpine region. Do you think, as an economic ecosystem, it's a place worth to be to develop a new SMEs or to develop a businesses that has to do with circular economy and digital economy? Leonardo, I want to start with you. Just 1 minute. Just
I think that you should put your mouth where your, there is this saying, right, that you should keep trusting what you're doing, right? I do live in an alpine environment, and what do you think about it? I mean, this is the view from my house. Do you really think that I cannot believe in circular economy? I mean, I see it as the only way forward. What we provide is crucial for my own survival. So I'm very egoistical about it. And in the meantime, I hope I can help all the other people as well. But my point of view is, yes, we can go on thinking that we are an ecosystem that hosts companies that try to solve our biggest problem, which is the economic crisis. Sorry, the climate crisis.
Well, the economic crisis we're slowly getting out of it. So,
but I don't think so. They come and go, but the real issue is the climate crisis.
Crisis is much bigger and more,
and slower and slower.
Can result in a much bigger economic crisis as well.
I mean, you wish you are in an economic crisis when you get into a real climate crisis, right?
Right, absolutely. Gerard, how's the situation in France? I mean, I'm not really familiar with the Alpine region. I know well Slovenia, I know Austria, I live in Trentino as well, so I know our region. How is in France? Beware of your microphone. The microphone is still off. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Barbier Group is located in not in a city, in a small village close to in Haute-Loire. It's Campagne. It's and this fact is from my point of view has a big influence about our consciousness about the problem of environment. Right. And of course, this is why we have developed and we have integrated the mechanical recycling of, at the beginning it was scrap of production, but later it was unused film collected after use, film collected after use, and I think all this the geography is very important to explain why we have developed this concept of circular economy. Maybe okay, it's a good thing for the future. I think it's very, very good things. Okay,
it is. It's interesting, but
we
also
are on the right way. Okay,
I believe almost every one of us has a nice landscape outside the windows. But beside the geography and the nature inspiring us to do better, Branka, do you think it exists a cultural and economic ecosystem in this region that might also, create exchanges? We know Slovenia and the Triveneto, they have a lot of exchanges as well with France and Austria in the Piedmont region. So what do you think? It can be considered a cultural and economic macro region.
Yes, I think it depends on that, but mainly, we can do changes if we believe in what we do and if we live the same values as company. And we are, our company is not in the location that will be really environmental friendly. We are from Velenia. Here is a lot of hard industry, but still we are doing sustainable projects. Because of our owners who believe in that and who put the value nature on the top of our company. Right. And I think a lot of employees in our company also believe in that, and that's why we can do the changes in that way.
Thank you, Nicola. We have 1 minute to close straight on time. So what's your take on this? Do you think it does exist, this micro region of the Alpine circular thinkers?
I would say no. I mean, not for us, because we start spreading the company already. So we are not thinking
almost to the US.
Let's say, yeah. I don't think the US is the market. The market is a worldwide market, and that's why what we are thinking. The European region was really helpful for the help that give us for starting up, for setting, for test the market, for growing, and for let's say, be able to be a world enterprise, a multinational company. Right. To be in the future, of course, we are not a multinational right now, of course. So what I would say is the best, is one of the best points to start, because there is a lot of good point in order to start the company, to grow in a very good environmental condition. And also, so for startup, I think was the best choice for us. I was coming back from Boston before the company, so the reason why I came back in Italy is for that, because instead of what everyone is saying, Italy and Europe is one of the best places to start a company, I think.
Wow, that's the first time I actually hear it. No, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's actually
I have to say that I think is a very good environment for startup.
It will be. It's definitely growing and becoming also a good place to live and a good place to have an enterprise. Thank you so much to the four of you. It was a very interesting and cool discussion to have this afternoon.